What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Star Wars Black Series 40th Anniversary Vintage Series. We're having a look at Luke Skywalker. Now here we do have Luke Skywalker in the packaging. You can see the vintage card back right here. It does say Kenner right here, really loving this awesome throwback to the original vintage line. We do have Luke Skywalker here in the packaging, as well as his binoculars and his lightsaber. On the back we don't have a bio, just images of other figures of this line. We do have Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, R2-D2, Death Squad Commander, Chewbacca, Stormtrooper, Jawa, C-3PO, Tusken Raider, and Darth Vader. And then we also do have the 40th Anniversary Legacy Pack right here, which we already had a look at. But really glad I have Luke Skywalker in hand. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get him opened up, and then we'll go on to the rest of his review. So sit tight, everyone. And here we have Luke Skywalker posing out of the packaging. Before we get onto the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. He does come with two accessories. The first one being his binoculars. Let's move Luke off to the side right for a moment so we can show off his binoculars. A lot of nice little detail on these binoculars. You can see all the little intricate workings on them. You can see this is actually molded to look like it can be cranked. So I'm just really loving the amount of detail that went into this. He can hold it if you really want him to, although it would stretch out his hand quite a bit. You can see it's not really meant to fit his hands. It's a nice accessory, and it does have this little clip on it, so if you really wanted to, there's a spot back here on his belt. You just take the binoculars and you clip that on. It's a little difficult because you really can't see what you're doing, and the shirt does get in the way, but once you get it in there, it should stick. You might want to stretch this out just a tiny bit so that it latches on the back of the belt, but once it's there, it's a nice secure fit, and it fits perfectly. You can see it's not going to come off anytime soon, which is really nice. His next accessory is, of course, the lightsaber. His father's lightsaber, and I am a little disappointed that there's really not too much paint on it. I seem to recall when we got this with Rey, it had a little more paint details than this. Whoop! I zoomed in too much. And now we just need my camera to focus again. There we go. I feel like the handle was a little more painted with Rey. You can see that it's mainly just a silver handle, but I think that is screen accurate to the movie. He does have a blue ignited blade, which you can see it is done in this translucent plastic. And if you really want to, you can take the lightsaber off the handle and just have the hilt by itself. And it does have this little loop at the top. Luke has a little hook right here. You can loop his lightsaber around. And now he has all his accessories on his person. And just as you'd imagine, he does hold the lightsaber pretty well. We can slide that into his hand. Doesn't come out. He's not going to let go of that, so really liking that. So let's actually just drape that on his belt one more time, so we can go on to his detail. I'm really liking the way this figure came out. I initially did not pick up the original Black Series Luke. I saw him in stores and always said I was going to pick him up, but I never did. Essentially, this is the same Luke Skywalker that we got with the Black Series boxes. If you have that figure, it is hard to justify getting this figure if you bought him already. I didn't, so having this figure is a welcomed addition to my collection. So let's actually go on to some of the details on Luke here. I know it's not showing right now, but I'm actually having a really hard time keeping Luke standing. I don't know if it's a shirt or something, but he's not doing it on camera, but trust me, I am having a hard time getting him to stand. The face is done really well. It does look like a younger Mark Hamill. The hair is done in this, you can see, dirty blonde look. Really, really 70s style hair that Luke has here, which I really do like. He does have a soft goods shirt, which I don't know how I feel about the soft goods. I mean, I guess it's cool, but at the same time, I'm constantly finding myself readjusting it, and it is quite a bit of a pain to readjust. But once you get it to look like it was in the movie, it looks really nice. You don't want to have it too low or too high. I think right about there is the best look for it. It does fit a little big on him, which is a little unfortunate, but Luke's shirt was big in the movie. You can see the belt is done really nicely. You can see he has a communicator right here, which unfortunately does not come off, so don't try pulling that off. You can see all the pouches here. Again, the binocular and the lightsaber fell off. He is wearing his beige, almost, I want to say, they're not quite beige or almond, they're like a really light gray pants. And then we get to his wrappings for his boots. So that's really cool. I'm definitely liking this figure. So that's Luke Skywalker for you. Unfortunately, I already put Darth Vader away, so I can't do a size comparison. But Luke is smaller than Vader, which is how it should be. Zooming the camera out so we can actually go on to Luke's articulation. He does have a ball-jointed head. He can look up about that far. It is hindered by his hair. He can look down pretty far. He can spin left and right and tilt his head really slightly, although it is almost non-existent. Arms on a ball joint do go out to about right there. Without the shirt, he would do a full 360, but as it's actually with the shirt on, he still did a full 360. I thought it was going to hinder his movement, but it didn't. He does have a bicep swivel. Let's actually show that off. If I can get the shirt that high. He does swivel up here at the bicep. He is double jointed at the elbow, so that's pretty good. He has a hinge in the wrist, so that goes forward and back. And it's the same for both arms, both hinge in and out. One thing to note is that you do have to remember which way the joint is facing on him, because the way the clothing covers up the joints, you don't want to be bending or moving something. You always double check which way the hinge is so that you don't accidentally break the figure. He does have a ball joint in the torso, which works really well. It does give him some forward and back movement, as well as some side to side. And he spins at that torso joint. Nothing in the waist, although his legs do go forward to about that far, back to about that far, out to about this far. He does swivel at the thigh. He is double jointed in the knee. No boot swivel, but we do get a hinge in the ankle, which goes forward about that much, back about that much, and I think we can get a little more movement on that ankle if we nope. Upward movement is almost non-existent, so there is that. But he does have a forward-facing pin, so we do get rocker ankles for him. With that being said, that is Luke Skywalker, so let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up his review. So sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Luke Skywalker posed for my final thoughts. Overall, I really do like this figure, and I am actually glad that I passed on his initial release, because I would have had to pick him up a second time for the vintage card back. But as it stands, I really do like this figure. If you already have this figure and you don't want to pick him up again, then I would suggest that you just pass on this guy. However, if you're a completist and you want to have the entire vintage card back Black Series, I really do recommend him, especially if you missed out on his first release. He's a welcome addition to your Star Wars collection, and you can have a Star Wars collection without Luke Skywalker. That is a given, and I'm surprised it actually took me this long to get mine. But I actually found mine at Walmart for about $19.97-ish, around that area, which is pretty good considering most places are charging like $21 for him. If you can find Luke Skywalker, I definitely recommend you pick him up, especially if you missed on his previous release, or if you're a completist for the vintage card back. And as always, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews. All my Star Wars Black Series reviews are also up, so go ahead and check those out. And as always, if there's a figure you guys would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to review it for you guys. And until next time, I'm KingofDragons 5000 and I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.